Hello everyone, it is Sunday night and we are coming to you live from inside of Bat City Comic Professionals in Bradenton, Florida to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm your host, Shannon Live, aka Small Press Shann, here to get you excited about a bunch of books that you're going to want to rush out to your local comic shop and add to your subscription list. But of course, before we talk about comics, we can't wind down our weekend without whatever wine we're drinking. And this weekend, we are drinking a Halos of Jupiter, or Halos de Jupiter, and it is a Coates du Rhone, which is a French wine, so you know Matt's already excited about it if you watch the show, and this is going to be, I'm so excited. It smells incredibly good from even this far away, but it's a Southern Rhone, so it is, Matt, you broke down, oh there it is, it's on the bottle, it's 75% Grenache, 15%, I already forgot how you told me how to say that word. Mourvedre, and 10% Syrah. So I'm glad that it's mostly the Grenache because that's usually really good. And so this is going to be a strong, delicious, smooth French wine. So we're gonna give it a taste to start off the show. Oh, that does smell good. It smells really flowery, really smooth. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is definitely going to be a fan favorite for Matt. It's got so many flavors right off the bat, but they're all like equally smooth. I wish you guys could see Matt's face. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Mom. It's sweet.
It is a little sweet, but that's probably that little bit of the Syrah that's making that sweet texture to it. It's a little bit of sweet taste in the end. I keep wanting to call it Drops of Jupiter, but that is not the name. Halos de Jupiter. Yeah, this is really good. And where can we find this if we want to drink this, Matt?
Total Wine.
Total Wine. All right. It's such a beautiful bottle, too. Oh, my gosh. Like, that is so gorgeous with Jupiter. And then it's got the Libra pattern, like the Libra constellation on it, which is great because our buddy Anthony's still here and he's a Libra. So we're drinking this one in celebration of Anthony for hanging out with us at the shop.
It is a little more than we normally spend. I think it's about $14.99 or $15.99.
Okay.
But it is a southern France.
Right.
And because it has the 75% Grenache, which we like.
Which is so good.
More than the Syrah.
Yeah, I'm not a big... Syrah's a little too sweet for me. So just having that 15% drops a little bit of the sweetness in without overbearingly tasting of the sweetness. Mm-hmm.
Northern France has more Syrah.
Yes.
Southern has more Grenache.
Yes. In the Rhone region, like specifically. Yeah. Yeah, this is really good. It's really smooth too. So if you're like somebody who's looking to try a really nice wine and you don't know if you're even a wine drinker, this might be like a really nice like one to try that like feels like you're trying a nice wine because it is, you know, a little bit more because it is in that $15 range without having to go to a crazy thing. Before I get started in all of the things going on and all the things that came out this week, I do want to just give some shout outs for some people for some things that we recently got in the mail. Before Speed Racer started, Mad Cave sent us these really cool Speed Racer bandanas. And I have one in my hair right now, and I'm excited that we still have another one because my hair is definitely going to mess up the one that's in my hair. But these are really cool. I'm super excited about them. If you haven't picked up Speed Racer yet, you absolutely need to. We're on issue 2 of Speed Racer. But we are also going to be talking about Racer X today from Mad Cave and Mark Russell, and I'm really excited about that. You're going to see how excited in just a minute. But before we get there, good Lord in heaven, we got this massive package from our friends at Recca, and The Future is also out this week with issue 5, and so that is their big book. Recca is they're just crushing it with merchandise and giving us stuff, and so I have no idea what's in this box, so hopefully like it's not like a severed head or something crazy, but like hopefully it's actually like, because it is heavy, it is extremely heavy. Okay, to start with, there is some Recca stickers, which is really cool. If you don't know, Recca is actually a hacker spelled backwards. backwards, and they are actually a cybersecurity company, but they are now a comic publisher as well. And so their comic publisher is actually, their comic book that they have is actually a series that's intended to last 5 years, and the story is just kind of expanding. I like this because I'm not going to show it too much to the camera for very long because it'll do it, but these stickers also have a QR code on the back, so you can actually go in and read that first issue. And check out Recca Comics. This says, thank you from Recca Comics. This is a gift for you and your community. Please do what you think is best with these issues and things. We appreciate the support. And seriously, like, there's so much. Oh my gosh. I'm going to put the box back down because I cannot pick everything out of it. And we'll slowly open up because this is insane. Okay. Oh, is this what I think it is? Oh man. Jason had told me they were going to send these, and I'm super stoked. Guys, these are CDs of the Recca soundtrack that they've made to go with the book. And I am so stoked that they put it on CD and they sent us one. This is definitely going to be something that I can't wait to listen to in the car, because I want to know what the sounds of cybersecurity are. Like, what goes with that? I really need to know. And this is dope. So thank you for these. This is just the first thing in the box. So I'm going to see what else is in there. It's a bunch of bubble wrap, and oh my gosh. Also, thank you for not taping it all together. I really, really appreciate that. Awesome. This is going to be great for people who haven't had a chance to start. This is issues 5, 4, and they are flipped, 3, 2, and issue 1, and the big square bound oversized like 404 edition. This is all 5 issues that exist right now of Future Is that we have, and so that is awesome. Thank you so much, Recca, for giving us a chance to get our customers who haven't had a chance to get on it. But wait, there's more. Oh my god, there's so much more. Okay. All right, there are some posters in here, which who doesn't love a good poster? So there's some posters for the Future Is, also that have QR codes that can help you find out how to not only, I believe, join the comics, but also listen to the soundtrack, so you can read the comics or grab the soundtrack off of this poster. And then there is some teasers, just some like little teaser flyers. Oh, this is cool. This is actually not a teaser flyer. This is a guide to keeping cyber safe. So this is actually a cool way to like teach you about cybersecurity yourself. And then these are, we've got a couple of ash can editions. So if you don't know what an ash can is, it's like the preview edition of the comic book. So they sent us a couple of those. And oh my gosh, they sent us a signed copy of the 1337, the original version of issue 1. They sent us a completely signed copy of that. And just wait, there's more. When they first announced the Future Is, they actually put out a hardcover that was kind of like the big like kickoff for it. And so this is the actual like Future Is graphic novel that came first before, and so they sent us 2 of these. So oh my gosh, Recca, seriously, so much stuff. We are gonna have all of these things in the store. So that we can, share them with our awesome customers and make sure everybody gets it. But seriously, thank you so much to Recca, to Jason, to Keith, to Adam, everybody over there. Like, thank you for hooking us up with some great stuff. And I seriously cannot wait to listen to that soundtrack to see what's on it. That's going to be so awesome. All right, what happened at Bat City this week? We had so much exciting fun this week. We had Zine Night, which is Bat themed. Shout out to Katie for her awesome Zine Night, and for all of y'all that came. There's so many people. We ended up taking over like a third of the store in addition to the classroom. Kelly from the Ringling College is actually working on putting all of those one-page collab pieces from our group Bat Zine into a collaborative zine, and so those will be available for free at the shop once those are printed. Really excited. She just took those with her the other day. That's going to be really cool. Again, thank you to everybody who came, who shared your art, who shared your stories, and who made individual zines as well. There was so much cool stuff. And again, shout out to Katie for an awesome zine night. And speaking of awesome events with Katie, book club was the next night. We read Snot Girl from Brian Lee O'Malley and had some hilariously fun, great conversations about Snot Girl. The next book is Homesick Pilots #1 for the next Fresh Start Book Club. So come by the store, grab the trade paperback. We've got the single issues on their way in. So if you need a copy of #1, there will be that $1 Image First version of it coming soon to get you started. And then we had comic creation workshops yesterday, which was awesome. We had a ton of fun. We had some great times. For the first time in almost 8 years of doing this program, we actually had students make me the character, which was hilarious. I was a 200-year-old elf with superpowers who lived in Ireland and had to save the world from a half macaroni and cheese, half chicken noodle soup cat who was really upset with the planet Earth for the fact that we had too many weight loss infomercials on our television. And you know what? I honestly think 200-year-old me would probably be on the side of the cat for how many infomercials we should just wipe off the planet. But it was a great time. Awesome. Lots of fun. The kids did a great job, and everybody made up their own really amazing stories as well. And so, of course, that will be happening again next month. Coming up this week at Bad City, Wednesday is Manga Meetup. If you love manga and you just want to come into a room and talk about how much you love manga with a ton of people, that's going to be this Wednesday at 6:30. Saturday, Katie and I will be at the Art Center of Sarasota, where we will be teaching the process of comic making. You can sign up on the Art Center Sarasota's website. It is Turtles themed, Ninja Turtles themed specifically because it is National Pepperoni Pizza Day, so we've decided to Ninja Turtles up that experience a little bit for you. So come learn the process of drawing and inking and coloring your one panel, and also how we write comics with us at the Art Center Sarasota. That's going to be from 12 to 3 over there. And then, as we've been saying for months now, make sure you have September 27th on your calendar, because that is going to be Local Comic Shop Day. It's going to be our 3rd anniversary of being in Bradenton, our 7th anniversary of being a store, and we are having a zine fest to celebrate with all kinds of creators. There's going to be a station where you can collaborate and you can make stuff with us, and there's going to be a chance for you to support those creators. Plus, I can say it now, surprise guest has been confirmed. We will be releasing the Bradenton Marauders x Bat City Marty the Marauder's First Mates comic for the first time ever. Here at Zine Fest, we will be having a signing from 3 to 4 p.m. with Marty the Marauder for his book, as well as artist Anthony Pizzo and the writer of the comic, me. And it's going to be really cool. It's going to be such an awesome, wonderful time, plus all the other creators. So come out. Anthony and I will be here all day. So from 3 to the end of the event 5, we can sign that book, but the launch of the book will actually be at 3 p.m. when Marty is here to sign it. So come from 3 to 4 if you want Marty to sign it. And also, lastly, because I always forget at least one event, don't forget this Thursday night is Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night. It starts at 8 p.m. after the store closes to provide safe space for hanging out and shopping for people who may have felt like they've been marginalized in comic book stores before. Hopefully you never feel that way at Bad City, but this is still to give you a chance to kind of dip your toe in and see if the comic space is the space for you. So come join us at 8 p.m. this Thursday for that Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night. I'm going to take another drink of these Halos of Jupiter before I kick off talking about the comics. Man, that's good. That's a good wine. Ooh, it's kicking a little bit more in flavor. I'm so excited. Now I'm like regretting that we only have one bottle of this. I'm already like, oh, that's going to be all of it. It's okay. All right, we're going to talk about some comics, though, because that's why you came. You came to wind down your weekend and talk about indie and small press comics. So let's kick it off with Farmhand, issue 25 from Image Comics. We only have one issue of Farmhand left ever. History of Farmhand. We had a little bit of a hiatus, and now we are finally getting to the end. So if you don't know Farmhand, this is about a family of farmers who have actually created a way to raise body parts, essentially. And Dad thought that this was a really great idea to raise some body parts. And guess what? That never actually does work out the way we plan it to. And so his literal green thumb becomes a nightmare for the town and for a lot of people around the world. It has caused family issues for generations at this point. And we are in that epic battle stage because we are in the last arc. And so we are seeing the family kind of square off with the evil people who have grown from the seed of the destruction that they've kind of sown. And so this family is having to come together to actually fight through it and see if they're going to make it. If you've been reading it, you know that it's extremely wild and crazy, and I don't want to tell you too much about like where each person is in this, because you do actually need to read all of the series to get there. But again, one issue left. October will be the end of Farmhand, and we finally got to a point in this issue where I was like, ooh, I can see how we could end it. And now I'm just sad that we're almost at the end. So I'm like, oh, I totally get how we're wrapping up, but also please don't wrap it up because it's so good. But always a fun time with Farmhand. Speaking of wrapping things up, this is issue 24 of Transformers from Image, Skybound, and your Energon universe, which is the combination of Transformers and G.I. Joe. And while the Energon universe itself is not coming to an end, this is Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona's final issue as a team on this book. Issue 25 will kick off with Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora taking over. And we have seen a huge arc in this story. Much like with anything in the Transformers universe, we saw the Autobots come here, but they did not get their power like magically back immediately upon getting here. In fact, the Decepticons got there first, and it has been an ongoing struggle for them to try to really figure out. I'm not going to show you that. That's a giant spoiler. They've been trying to figure out how to save the humans that are being affected by this. And of course, Optimus is also dealing with the fact that on Cybertron, while they were in the middle of this battle, he has not necessarily been the best leader. You know, he makes the tough calls and the tough sacrifices, and he's dealing with that PTSD, and it's really impacting his judgment in this series so far. Daniel really kind of wraps it up and hands the keys to the Autobots over to Robert Kirkman in a really great way. We get to kind of see everybody find a space in themselves and yet still be left on this great cliffhanger. But I really just want to actually tell you, like, Daniel Warren Johnson wrote this beautiful letter in the back, and the best part of the whole thing was he wrote this part that said, "It took a mountain of people to get me to this place, including the original creators of the Transformers. Ultimately, it was the human heart and hands that brought these wonderful characters to life and changed all of our lives in the process. I doubt they thought they were doing anything earth-shattering, but the simple truth is that the world can be deeply changed by the stroke of a pen, with words or with lines. Spread out your passion for the world to take in. People will watch. People will be moved. You'll see." And I thought that's such a great way to wrap up something that Daniel Warren Johnson never thought was going to blow up and be this huge thing in the world. They never expected it to be something that like really took off in the way it did, and it absolutely did make a huge difference this year in the comic market. And just be reminded, like, that was Daniel Warren Johnson wanted Transformers because when he was a little kid, his favorite thing to draw was Optimus Prime, and his mom tried to make him feel better about his drawings of Optimus Prime by doing her own drawings of Optimus Prime and kind of like showing him like where he was better than her and like trying to encourage him to keep going. And so the fact that like he got to do that, and it's like this is a childhood dream come true, and it actually made that big of an impact on the industry is such a beautiful story, and just really shows through the passion that he had for the story while he was writing and at times drawing it. Thundercats, issue 18 from Dynamite Comics. This universe is just getting bigger and bigger. If you, obviously 80s cartoons, this is what we're going for right now. But this is the Thundercats have left, they left Thundara after it was destroyed, and they've been on Third Earth. And everything seemed to be going absolutely quite possibly the worst it could go, and now it's going worse. And so in this, in the recent issue, The Thundercats have found Bengali, who is the ex-fiance of Chitara, who is now with Tigra, because they all assumed Bengali was dead all this time, and so she has moved on for years since then. And now we've got some drama, because not only are they dealing with Lion-O missing and the fact that they're being attacked by all of these villains of different kinds that are teaming up against them, but now their leader, Chitara, is dealing with the fact that these two men cannot get it together. And they are fighting, and they are just being jealous and ridiculous. And Chitara is trying to deal with the fact that they now need to go out and fight against the villains, and everybody's kind of separated mentally from each other and emotionally from each other. And unfortunately for them, in this battle, they get separated physically from each other, and that may be the destruction of the very home that they've already built, as their battle just keeps getting worse for them. Oh man, here we go, guys. Feral, issue 16 from Image Comics and our friends Tony Fleece, Trish Forrestner. Oh my god, I cannot talk. Tony Fleece, Trish Forrestner, and Tone Rodriguez. This issue, oh my gosh, this is so good. So if you don't know Feral, this is essentially The Walking Dead, but with cats. It's from the same team that brought you Stray Dogs, and these cats have had a rough life, and in this arc, they have been staying at Pet City with a bunch of cats who have been living in the pet store long since before this little zombie outbreak has broken out, and they have made some terrible choices because they're not used to the weird rules that the Pet City cats have, and that has gotten one of our cats, Lord, in a lot of trouble. And now Elsie, who usually, feels a major guilt level of needing to stick up for Lord, is getting herself in trouble as well. And they decide in this issue that maybe what they need to do is just leave Pet City. And as they're trying to figure out how they're going to escape Pet City, they realize that Lord has been sentenced to death. And there is also a big revelation about what's been going on at Pet City all of this time. And also just a little bit about what makes Elsie so guilty when it comes to Lord. And so there's a lot of big reveals in this, a lot of tension. This is one of those books that keeps you on the edge of your seat going, oh my gosh, is this going to happen? What's going to happen? And Tony Fleece has just mastered the cliffhanger with this book. That comic page turn, that comic cliffhanger, Tony is just laughing at us all in his home while he writes these cliffhangers that he knows are going to traumatize us for a month. And this issue is definitely one of those for sure. So good. Such a good issue. We've got Hello Darkness, issue 14 from Boom Studios. Everybody's got their own horror anthology that's coming out right now, and this is Boom's, and it is wild and crazy. And so we've got a couple stories in here. The first one is from Zach Thompson, and it's about two boys who find a body on the beach, and they decide that the best thing they could do is play with it and make fun of it, and they kind of get their own little comeuppance for just being gross and desecrating bodies. Really pretty art on that one, though, for sure. And then we've got a story from Casey Gillen and Gilly. Oh my god, I'm going to get everybody's name wrong today. Casey Gilly. And this is actually a story that, if you're listening to me, Boom, I really, really, really want you to turn this into a full series. Because this is about a girl who is a witch, and witchcraft is outlawed at the time. And so she goes into a place to try to find the supplies she needs to basically make a spell that's going to save all of the other witches that are in hiding, and reach out to this mother witch. And it is an absolutely insane level of magic and sacrifice that goes into this. But seriously, even though I already know how it ends, I would absolutely 100% read an entire series still made around that whole thing, even if it went to the same exact conclusion. We also get a teaser of Marian Heretic, which is a new book that's coming out soon from Teenie Howard, and it is going to be so good. We get about 5 or 6 pages of it in here, and it's about a woman who is a nun, and her job is to go out and actually slay witches. She's forced into this job essentially because the men in charge of the religion have decided that she's sinned against whatever standards they think she should have, and so they force her to go out and fight against these witches. And so you get a little warrior nun Aurelia kind of feeling, but you get a lot more conversation around this religion and stuff as well. We've got a story called The Collywobbles from Pat Howard, which is all about a man who runs into a deer on the side of the road, and again with that just complete disregard for animal life. and all of the cruelness that he puts into taking this deer's life, and how it just comes back to haunt him, and it is absolutely gross and worthy of what he deserves. And then we have the life and death of Lucas Dreamwalker, and this is are you ready for this? I don't think you are. It is written by R.L. Stine with art from Frank Avila, and it is going to be your ongoing story in Hello Darkness, like the way the war was for a while, and Something is Killing the Children was. So we are going to see this coming in the back of all the issues for a while. And this is about a guy who we see in the Old West at the beginning of this issue, and he's known as the Dreamwalker. And he's talking about this like adventure that he's got to go on. And then suddenly he's like, I was in this dream and I didn't make it out alive, and that's never happened before. And what does that mean? And what is going to happen to me? And he kind of has to face some things that are coming his way, and we are going to see in the next issue what those things are. But seriously, putting R.L. Stine and Frank Avila on books together is always an easy way to make sure I'm going to buy them and read them, and so I'm super excited because it's going to be wild. To make sure you get all of your Hello Darkness issues, because everybody, like, with the Something is Killing the Children one was like, oh, I didn't know there's a Something is Killing the Children backup story in Hello Darkness. Well, now you know. The R.L. Stine Frank Avila one is there. Make sure you get it. Redcoat issue 14 from Image Comics, The Ghost Machine imprint and our unnamed universe. This is like, can this book get better? I always think, no, it can't. And then it does every time. And so this actually takes us to a story where our beautiful, wonderful Simon Pure is at the White House to play a game of poker and you know, eat some food, and it is just happens to be August 24th, 1814, which is when the White House was burned. And so he happens to be there, and because he is British, they assume that he is responsible for the crime at hand. And while he is trying to make his escape, he runs into one Miss Dolly Madison, who is known for saving the portrait of President George Washington that was in the White House. And so he is like, I can't let this woman die in a fire. Like, that's, even though, of course, Simon is no hero, as he always tells us, but he can't let a woman die in a fire, even though he doesn't even know that she's Dolly Madison at the time. So he helps her escape with the painting, and as they are doing so, they run into the actual bad guys of the story, and he has to help her through this. All of this is leading up to whatever crazy disastrous thing is coming to Simon's life, because if you've been following this book, you know that Simon Pure is an immortal person who was made that way on accident by the Founding Fathers, and now his immortality is tied to the sanctity of America, which is crumbling during the Civil War. And while Simon would love to stay disconnected, has now found himself stuck in the middle of all of it with some crazy people from the future and all kinds of stuff going on. There is a lot in this book, and yet I love the way it blends folklore and history and action, and just building its own original characters and stories and things like that. This is honestly one of my favorite things Jeff Johns has ever done, and it's definitely, again, was the book that I didn't expect to like, and I fell in love with it, and it continues to impress me every time it comes out. Gotcha Man, issue 12 from Mad Cave. If you are a fan of the Gotcha Man anime, this is definitely the comic for you, because it is so in line with everything that happens. This is about the Science Ninja team and all of their adventures trying to destroy Galactor, who is trying to destroy the world. In this issue, a weird mech sphinx shows up, and it's not really doing anything, but they're like, oh, we need to figure out what it is. And so they deploy the Science Ninja team out there to go and check on it. While they're there, we see a flash over to Galactor and what he's up to, which is training all of the people that he stole from the B Squad of the Science Ninja team to be his own team of bad guys and get them all trained and ready to go to do his bidding. And now, as they are finally getting ready to be his operatives, we are going to see some kind of showdown probably build up between the two, because there is something going on with the Sphinx where it is not exactly what they thought it was going to be, and it's only just the beginning of whatever this adventure that the Science Ninja team is going to have to face is going to be. These are really great because they just feel like little episodes of a cartoon, even if you never watch the show. It's fun for me. I was never into Gotcha Man, and yet I feel like I know all of these characters now. And it's really cool because people who were really into Gotcha Man are obsessed with everything in this book. Like, they're like, oh, well, that one line that they said wouldn't have been like the way they would have said that. And it's cool because even though I'm just reading it, like, I know those characters well too now, and I'm like, yes, that's totally, I see what you're saying. And it's so fun to be able to have long-term and new-term fans come together. We've got Blood Squad 7, issue 10 from Image Comics. This is kind of taking one of those like 1990s Image teams and giving them a new version of it. So 30 years ago, there was a celebrity team of superheroes named Blood Squad 7, and they've kind of all retired or been forced out of their positions. And now one of the old members of it is in charge of security in this cabinet, and they decide that they are going to rebuild the Blood Squad 7 team with all new people. And the difference is, though, is that back when they were the team, they kind of just fell in line with whatever they were told to do by their leaders. But these people have a lot more inability to follow those rules. They want to just do what's right. They want to actually get a chance to be superheroes. And they've kind of been struggling a lot with that. And in this issue, they are sent to a country that is supposed to be their ally, but they're being attacked by another country. And while they're there, they're sent to the country that's not the ally to try to protect the allies. And while they're there, they realize that these people are being attacked and that there's a lot of like unfair situations and innocent people are being killed. And they're like, once again, like, are we superheroes or are we just like pawns in a governmental game? And so they have to make some big decisions in the issue that may put them in more danger, and definitely is going to mess with their ability to be government allies at the time. We've got The Future Is issue 5 from our friends at Recca. It's such a fun book because I feel like I am on this really big adventure that could get as big or as small as I wanted it to be. But over the last 5 issues, we have been building a team. We have our leader, Wheeler, who has gone out and found different people who could kind of be the ideal team for his team of cybersecurity people who are going to help save the world from some really bad stuff. And in this issue, he's like, okay, now that we have the whole, the majority of the team that I want, we're going to go on a team building mission. And they're supposed to be figuring out some like clues and in their own little capture the flag kind of challenge, and that's going to lead them to this top secret restaurant. But when they get there, everybody at the restaurant that ate the food that day is dead. And so they're like, oh, I guess we need to figure out what's going on and how to solve the mystery of what happened there. And so they end up in this, like, essentially VR game where they have to go in and, like, be these characters and kind of figure out how to solve, again, some kind of cybersecurity thing. And there's the big bad guys are moving and shaking on the other side, which is impacting their way through this world. We're starting to see each of the characters' personalities come into play a little bit more. And we're seeing that not everything is ever as it seems. One of the cool things about this book, and I'm going to see if I can find one really easily, really fast, is that because they are actually cybersecurity, cyber analysts and things like that that are making it, in that world, there is actually real life, like, capture the flag games where you can go online and you can kind of participate in figuring out clues and solving some puzzles and games and stuff. And they actually have an ongoing game in The Future Is. And so we have a couple of security analysts and cyber analysts who shop here who have said, the game is a lot of fun, but they've also said that even if you're somebody who's not really into all of that, you can still play the game because the clues are easy enough to, like, jump in for beginners. And then there's, like, some paths that you can go down that are more advanced and stuff. So really cool to just jump in. We've got Free Planet, issue 5 from Image Comics. All right, so this is such a big, like, universe that has been built in this, and in 5 issues we have built so much out. But in this story, we have basically come to a place where we have finally figured out how to make, like, one planet that's completely free. There's nobody in charge, except there is, but there's no, like, that's not a bunch of different countries. It's not all this different stuff. It's supposed to be one planet where we all kind of have just, like, one group of people that sits on a council to try to oversee and protect us. And the thing about anything ever becoming completely free that wasn't originally free is that you're always going to have people who are taking advantage of other people, or who are trying to move in a way where they think that their ideal of what free is different than your idea. And in this issue, they really actually spend a lot of time kind of discussing that amongst the team, because some of them are scientists, and then we have a lot of people who are really religious, and we have people who have been a part of military operations and things. And so each of their idea of what freedom looks like and what freedom experiences are is very, very different. And we kind of see how that impacts when they're like, oh, well, we have to go out and make this like enforcement of that freedom stays this way. It's like, oh, well, we shouldn't be involved in that, or, oh, we should be involved in this, and, oh, we're going to create this thing. And it's like, how free is the place if these people are still overseeing it? And how free is anybody if there are certain like rules and regulations being put on them by their science or their religion or anything like that? It's like, you can only be so free when there's still anybody telling you what to do. And this issue really talks about that a lot. And what's actually going to happen in there, and actually battles that are brewing on the side. And we still have our ambassador, who is an alien who can see the future, who is there telling us that something big and bad is coming our way. And so who knows what that big bad is, but it's coming. It's happening. We've got Blood and Thunder issue 5 from Image Skybound, and this is finally connecting the two stories. And so in the very beginning, we saw a story of a young girl who was essentially a police officer in this police force in the futuristic society, and she was kind of on the lower level of the society rung, and she had a gun that could talk and was, an older model, but it was like the one that her dad used when he was on the force, and so it's kind of the only thing she has left to remind her of who he was. And a big bad guy escaped, and all of this terrible stuff was happening, and she was kind of working on it. Well, in the last couple of issues, we kind of moved away from that, especially in the last issue, and we've been following these people who are kind of well-to-do, like hoity-toity guys who are known for being, scholars and professors, and they're the only people who have these books on the planet at all. Like, books are like completely banned, and only they seem to have it. And it seems as if a monster is coming or somebody is coming and stealing their books. And recently they were told that it was in fact a monster, and they went on a hunt for it. And now they, in this issue, find themselves in their local police department. And they are like, hey, we called in somebody from the other place, and it just happens that it is this girl. And so she has come in and is here to kind of tell them what they need to do. And we kind of see how those two things cross over. But also, if you read issue 1, she found books that were stolen at the end of issue 1 and didn't really know what they are. And so now she's getting a chance to learn what books are and why they matter, and how they don't necessarily just have to be educational and training, but there could be books that tell stories and things like that. And it's really fascinating to see how that's going to morph into one story and where the monster is going to fall, but also like a lot of conversation about classism and elitism and the lack of books making that go further. We've got Bronze Faces, issue 5 from Boom Studios. This is the story of 3 people who were all raised by the same man, who was known for making cultural masks and was really famous for his work in doing that. And when he passed away, all of his cultural masks, which were a huge part of the community that they were raised in, were given off to different museums. And they came back to find each other and were like, we need to break into all of these museums and get these masks back. And we need to not just get Dad's, but we need to get all of the ones and all of the other artifacts that belong to cultures all over the world that essentially, white researchers have stolen over the course of hundreds of years and put in museums. And so they start breaking into all of these museums, trying to get this back. If you've been following along, you know that they were doing a really good job until they kind of went really high on their goals and started getting lofty. Well, in this one, they go even further. And whether or not they're going to actually continue to make it out of this, we're going to find out, because we only have 1 issue left, and they have definitely made some really big missteps in this issue and tried to go a little too hard. And, they're like kind of getting too much into the fame of getting famous for stealing all the stuff back and not really so much focused on their goal anymore. And so they're kind of, as they lose sight, they keep making their goals bigger and bigger and bigger. And it doesn't seem like, for all of them, it's not necessarily about the people anymore. And so it's really starting to cause a lot of problems. We've got the end of Blood Type, issue 4 from EC imprint of Oni Press. And so this is the first of the EC stories that wasn't just a one-shot in one of the anthologies, but actually came out as a full story. And this is all about a woman who is a vampire and ends up on an island thinking she's going to have a nice relaxing time getting off of a ship and just enjoying her stay there, only to be approached by a boy who is kind of like, you know, your standard frat guy working at a resort, and turns out he has a long history of vampire hatred, and specifically this woman vampire hatred. And so he has been trying to get connection to her and trying to steal her blood, and he explains to us the whole evil bad guy plan in this issue. He's like, here it is, this is everything that I've actually been working to do, and this is why we specifically need you, and then why we're going to kill you. And so they have her tied up like in a swimming pool where there's no way out, and they are draining the blood from her. And as she has to figure out a way to the ability to escape, and how she's going to do that, and whether or not she's going to take these people out. I don't want to show you anything else because, like I said, it is the ending wrap-up of the story. But she does make some tough choices in this issue, and we do get to see a lot of everybody kind of getting a little bit of what they deserve all at the same time, like of us learning what the whole point was. And it's really cool because we finally did get her backstory in like the last issue, and it all ties together in a nice way as they pull it into this issue. Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, issue 4 from IDW. If you have been reading the Godzilla, Here There Be line of stories the whole time, you know, we've done a lot of different adventures from a secret society of people who knew that kaiju existed and have just kind of been writing them off as massive incidents in the world. But now we are dealing with some aliens, specifically the Xylians, if you know from the Godzilla world, and they have brought Mecha King Ghidorah down to fight against all of the kaiju on the planet, and not a single one of them has been able to take him down, and they've shown each of them just kind of get taken all the way down, all so bad. Even Godzilla at this point has been knocked out. And so they decide, one of our scientists gets kidnapped by a different race of aliens who very much hates the Xylians, and they are like, we have fixed your jet Jaguar, we will lend it to you to fight against Mecha Ghidorah, and this will be your one chance. All you have to do is like save Godzilla. And that's the first half of the book, because in the second half of the book we realized that might not be the way that's going to work out. But this is not the end. However, there is like a massive cliffhanger moment at the end of this issue. So action-packed, definitely fun for kaiju fans, because you get to see a little all of them. And of course, we're still kind of building on that secret society world. You do not have to have read Here There Be Dragons or Here There Be Monsters. Yes, okay. You do Here There Be Giants. Thank you. I was like, that seems too easy. You don't have to have read either of those to read this one. They all do stand alone with just a little overarching story of a secret society. So check it out for sure. The Last Witch, Blood and Betrayal, issue 3 from Boombox. Okay, Boom, again, are we going to put The Last Witch, volume 1, back in stock? Because this book is so good, and I want everybody to read it. And I have not checked this week, so don't quote me on it. But if it's not back in stock yet, please, please, please put it in, because this is one of my favorites. This is all about a young girl who, after a witch in the woods kind of attacks her village, she ends up going out and realizing she is the only witch that remains that can save this world. And the world being Ireland specifically. And she is being led by her nan and a local fairy boy who are supposed to be helping her, and she's got her little brother with her, and she's the only one left to protect him. She has been on a battle all through the first volume and this volume. She has been on a battle to take out all of the evil sisters of the evil witches, but now she must actually go and face the ultimate evil. And she's kind of losing sight of herself. She started to get very angry. She's turning on her friends. She's yelling at her little brother. And as she's finally like, I want to fix all this. I don't want to be a bad person. And she's having these moments where she's getting to realize who she wants to be and learning about herself. It seems like she's not the only person who is up to betrayal. And as she tries to figure out how to just survive the battle that she has at hand, everybody else might not make it, and she might even not be able to do anything about it. So good. It is a boombox book, which means it's good for teens and adults, and that is the teen imprint of Boom. And so it's absolutely fantastic. I really hope that we get more volume 1s in stock, because you all need to read it. It's so good and so rich in Irish culture. So it just makes, the 200-year-old elf with magical powers from Ireland get excited. And don't forget your briefcase, issue 3 from Mad Cave. This is such a fun, almost comedy of errors spy book that Mad Cave is giving us right now. It's so much hilariousness. It started out with a young boy who always carried a briefcase to school, getting made fun of by everybody, and going to see his mom at her job in the White House, only to be there on the day that something went down that I literally cannot say on the internet, even though talking about a book. And so while the mom is trying to keep the son safe, he drops his briefcase and mixes it up with, of course, the briefcase that has all the secret codes for the American government. And now we are in, like I said, this comedy of errors, because the mom has her own secret past and her own thing that has led her into danger, and now it's bringing the son into it. And so she's got her spy life that she's a double agent on and things like that, and now secret spies are showing up at her house from both sides of the table. The son has lost it. In the last issue, he walked in on a conversation that was definitely not meant for him, that caused him to kind of really just have like a kid meltdown, and he runs outside and steals the car. He's like 8. And so this one is his high-speed chase of him trying to get away from everybody who is just stressing him out. And again, you're constantly wondering, where is the briefcase? Where did it go? What's inside? Which briefcase do we have right now? You're always going to wonder. I can't wait for the last panel of the last book to be them opening the briefcase and it being the wrong one, because that better be how it ends, to just make this the most hilarious thing of all time. We've got Gargoyles, Demona, issue 3 from Dynamite and their Disney imprint. This is following fan favorite Gargoyle, Demona, who wasn't in the original Gargoyles, or the recent Gargoyles comic that we had, until they brought her in a little bit later. And so everybody was like, where's Demona? What has she been up to? Well, we're taking this back, all the way back to the 1100s, and we're getting to see what exactly Demona has been doing. And in this issue, she has decided to camp out on top of a cathedral in a town, only to find out that in that town there is an artist who has been, a sculptor who's been building these incredibly gorgeous gargoyles, only for him to get fired because he charges too much and he takes too long. And the church doesn't want to, and the city council don't want to pay that much money, so they hire somebody who makes terrible gargoyles, and that does them really fast. Well, a spell gone wrong causes those gargoyles to come to life, and the only person who can stop these evil gargoyles is, of course, Demona. And so we get to see Demona have to swing into action against something that looks so much like her. And of course, that is the thing that has always bothered the gargoyles, is that, of course, humans are always trying to destroy them. So it's hard for Demona to want to fight something, even though she knows it's not a living gargoyle in the same way that she is. But really great issue, and this one's honestly a standalone issue. So if you just want to see some fun Demona gargoyle story, that's going to be a great way to do it. The Unchosen, issue 3 from Image. This is a new superhero style world for us. It's all about a young girl who is brought to a special school where they tell her they're going to train her because she has this magical power. And that by saving her from the dangers that she's facing and training her in this, they'll actually be able to help her find her mom, who has gone missing. Well, immediately upon getting to this school, she learns that she is trapped in the school and she can never leave again, and that they're actually not trying to help her find her mom. And the leaders in there bring her in, and this issue, they're like, we need you to go in and absorb this power. We need to test you. We need to see what it is that you have. We think you're the savior of the world. And it all just seems a little too much, and a little like it's not really the thing that is actually happening. And she keeps questioning it, and when they won't give her any answers, she ends up figuring out a way to run away which is something she hasn't been able to do in the other 2 issues. And in the process of doing that, she comes in contact with a bunch of other people who used to be students at the school who have run away, and she learns that there is a whole other side to the story, and that these people, like she suspected, may not be what they say they are. And so we're kind of just starting to see that turn in this issue 3 of like, where is it going, and what is this new world going to be, and who are these new characters, and we're gonna find out. Return to Skull Island, issue 3 from Titan Comics. This is such a fun Kong world story that really gives us a little bit of a different tale, because it does follow more kid protagonists than adults. But in the first issue, we see a kid actually get stuck on Skull Island after his family's like boat crashes on there, the boat that his dad is working on, and all the people. And he's him and the dad are the only ones that are left there. And in the last 3 issues, they found their way to connect together. But they've also managed to find this other group of children that have lived on this island forever. And we learn that Kong is kind of the tie to the island, and what keeps everything safe, and what keeps it living and supported. And now, because of something that the dad and the son have brought with them, Kong is sick, and the island is dying, and everything is getting really, really bad for everybody on it. Meanwhile, his sister has actually managed to make a group of people come together that are going to go to the island to rescue her brother. But unfortunately for them, it seems as though the team they built might be a little full of mercenaries who are trying to, score some crazy animals and goods from Skull Island. And so we are going to see once again the evil of man going after the goods of Skull Island. And hopefully we can save Kong before it's too late, because if he dies and these monsters rule, it will be way too dangerous. All right, before I go to the number 2s, I'm going to take a drink of this Halos de Jupiter. Man, that's good. This is a Coates du Rhone, which is a southern French wine. It is 75% Grenache, 15%, I can't say it again already, Morvedra, and 10% Syrah. It's got so much flavor in it. It's so smooth. That's so good. All right. We've got Space Ghost, issue 2 from Dynamite. This is Space Ghost relaunching, but not, because Space Ghost we had Space Ghost going on for a little mini-series in 2024. Space Ghost relaunched in 2025, kind of picking up after the Space Ghost Johnny Quest crossover and all of the other kind of side quests that he went on. He still has his 2 kids and their space monkey, who is not Gleek. And they are still working on going on some great adventures and taking out some bad guys. And in this story specifically, this is kind of a standalone a little bit for this one as well. He meets essentially the Space Ghost equivalent of like Black Cat. And we get to hear the backstory of this character that he's had a long-running relationship with, where she is just essentially just the greatest thief that is good at. Her power is that she can bend light, and so she's able to use it to bend the lasers and things like that, so she can break into places and steal the stuff, including stealing Space Ghost's original power bands. Now she's gotten them all in trouble because she has stolen something that they are all going to be in trouble with, the ultimate mobsters of the Space Ghost universe. And so Space Ghost and his friends are trying to help her out of this situation. But, you can't really help a thief. They constantly make the wrong choices. And so she's got to figure out who she wants to be, how she wants to be connected. Honestly, seriously, it was like reading if Black Cat had crossed over into the Space Ghost universe. And her name is so fitting for our wine today because her name is Luna Solaris. And they meet her at the Black Nebula bar. So it goes perfect with our Halos of Jupiter wine. I was laughing when you were like, we're going to drink the Jupiter wine. And I was like, great, Space Ghost is on point, ready to go. We have issue 2 of Tama from Panic. I love the way this book feels. I just like to touch the Panic books every time they come out. They're so soft. It's like the crushed velvet of comics. Like, I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm calling it that. If you have not read Tama yet, it is everything you were afraid would happen in the 90s, because it is about a evil Tamagotchi who is so cute and adorable, but basically a woman who is investigating a situation that happened years ago from a game invention company that invented essentially the equivalent of a Tamagotchi, a virtual pet, if you would, so that Panic doesn't get sued. They invented a virtual pet. It had some problems. The company went defunct, and the problem was that the virtual pets went psycho and killed everybody. And, well, after this person tried to break in and steal all the files back, the young son of the woman finds the information on Tama, who is one of the virtual pets, and decides that he's going to play the game, because why not? Games are fun. And what he needs a friend, and this could be the one. Well, it turns out that if you are sad or angry, Tama is sad and angry. And if you don't play with Tama, Tama gets bored. When Tama's happiness meter gets down to about 10%, Tama finds a way to get happy, and that is through vicious, violent, vengeful activity, as the cover wants to remind us. And in this issue, our main character is getting bullied over the death of his father, which is like the worst thing kids can bully each other over. And he makes some comments in front of Tama that really sends him down a very vicious, vengeful, and violent path. And seriously, it's kind of awesome in the, like this is like, I want a horror movie. I hope this gets adapted into a movie. I absolutely would watch the crap out of the movie. And also, Tama is adorable. Like, I know he's evil and vicious, and if I say the wrong thing, he might kill somebody that, like, or something, but, like, he's so cute at the same time. You can't be look at him. You can't be mad at him. Like, he's like, oh, Tama, you're here. And it's like, oh, Tama, you're here. Like, it's so good. They are doing a great job of balancing cute, cuddly, and all of the good things with all of the darkness that comes with that. So if you haven't picked it up yet, issues 1 and 2 are out. You should definitely check it out. We've got Cal Exit, The Battle of Universal City, issue 2 from Black Mask. This is a new volume of Cal Exit. They do a really, really good job of recapping what Cal Exit is at the beginning. So you can jump in. If you don't know, basically the world, America is a mess and California secedes, and not everybody is in on the decision. And so California kind of becomes like this battleground for the world. And so in this series, we are actually seeing one of our main leaders from the Cal Exit story trying to get, you can actually see like her map, she's trying to get down to a different part, and right now she's having to go through LA to do just that, and that includes going through Universal Studios, which is still kind of open as a theme park. And so it's kind of funny because it's like they're going in, she's like dressed up like in costumes, and they're at these diners and stuff because she's got a guy who is a dealer that's helping her through, and nobody ever looks at him because they all both sides of the fence are using him for his stuff that he's got, so he's getting through. And so they're just like, oh, it's nice that you're bringing this girl with you. Nice lady friend. Well, in this issue, specifically, while they're at the diner, she ends up meeting a girl who recognizes who she is and who's like, I've always wanted to join the resistance. And so she goes and meets her friends group, which is all people who want to join the resistance. And they're all very young and have never actually been active in this situation before. And she realizes that when they say they have a plan, it is a very large plan and very dangerous plan. And she's like, if you do, you need to start small, but we also need to make your plan happen. And let's go. Welcome to the resistance. And it's going to be big. There's going to be a lot that goes down in this next issue. It's definitely, if issue 3 is the turn in pretty much every comic, this is definitely going to be the one. Yes, SpongeBob is in this book, Katie. I heard you. They're at Universal Studios, so there is somebody dressed up as SpongeBob in issue 1. So you should definitely read it just to see what goes down with that SpongeBob, because it's funny. We've got Hellboy in Love, issue 2 from Dark Horse and the Hellboy universe. This is Hellboy has a girlfriend. He has left the BRPD and it is living with his girlfriend, who is working as a she's an archaeologist essentially, and she's trying to figure out how to stop this situation that is happening. The only way they can do it is essentially to resurrect this old witch, and she needs Hellboy to do that because of course Hellboy can talk to the dead. And in issue 1 they did end with them awakening this witch, and guess what, if you know anything about Hellboy, you know it never goes down the way Hellboy thinks it's gonna go. And so this witch wakes up and she's angry and she's mad, and Hellboy's like, well, joke's on you because I've got control of you. And guess what, no he didn't. No, he did not. And so issue 2 is all about this witch running amok, and Hellboy not knowing how to fix it, and problems galore. And as with most of the expanded universe Hellboy books, they're only 2 issues, but they do lead you open for whatever is going to be the next story. And so this is going to lead us to whatever the next little mini story from the Hellboy universe will be. Again, you don't have to read all of Hellboy to jump into these. So if you're ever like, I kind of want to try Hellboy, but I don't really know because it's such a big universe and I don't know where to start, you can always grab one of these like 2-part series and just get to know a little taste of the characters that are in that specific story and see if it's something you like before you jump into the massive universe that does exist. We've got Godzilla issue 2 from IDW. This is the launch of the new era of Godzilla. It is launching here in the comics for the first time ever. This is the Keisei era, and we are coming into issue 2. And in this world, we have a team of people who are here to, both fight and protect us from kaiju. And they are building their team, and they have been figuring out what's going on because there's all these like Hedorah monsters that are not Hedorah attacking the world, and it's kind of really messing up with a bunch of the other things. And so they've been doing this research on it. Well, there's also this kid who's like a teenage boy who shows up and somehow has the Kaisei power, like the power that controls a kaiju and gives them power. Like he has like Godzilla's atomic fire breath and things like that, and they're like, how does he have this, what is going on? And so they are trying to use him as a way to kind of facilitate what's going on. Plus we have a scientist who seems to be able to feel and understand what's going on specifically with the kaiju. And so the two of them are kind of having their bonding moment in this issue over what's happened in their past, but also what's currently happening. And they are trying to figure out these migration patterns because for some reason the kaiju migrations are lining up on top of each other, and it's just kind of a weird situation. And so they want to figure out what's happening. This team is ridiculous. Jet Jaguar is the most absurd character in this because he just talks in like Jet Jaguar rhymes. We've got some monsters that are exploding out in this issue that are just all new creatures and things like that. So it's a cool new era for the Godzilla, and it's cool that the comics got to be the launch point for the next era of Godzilla as it started. All right, we got a lot of number 1s this week. We've got Bullet Adventures. This is number 1, and it's from Altruist Comics. We're going to see a lot of the small press comics are getting put out. There's a couple of different publishers that are sub-distributing for smaller press comics now that they had to find new homes. And so it's really cool because we're getting to see some of those that we wouldn't have necessarily seen before. And so Bullet Adventures starts with a guy who when he was a teenager, he got some superpowers that gave him super speed. Well, it turns out that when he used his super speed, it aged him up immediately like 20 years. And so every time he like kind of aged like a little bit more. And so now he is in the future, he's in the now, I guess I should say. And he, even though he should only be like maybe like 40 years old, he is very much closer to the end of his life. And his childhood best friend, who's helped him with his superpowers his whole life, shows up suddenly in his room out of nowhere. Not teleportation, definitely time travel, as he makes the point to say. And is like, hey, you have to go back in time and you have to get this notebook to me so that I can invent all of these things. And he's like, does that not mess up the time travel thing? And he's like, no, but yes, all at the same time. Look, you just got to do it. Don't ask questions, just go. And he's like, well, what if I don't agree? Because I'm like an old man and I'm not a hero anymore. And he's like, well, you don't have a choice. And he sends him back in time, and he lands right in front of his best friend. And he just happens to land back on the day that is the first time he ever used his powers. And he's like, this is a chance for me to do it right. And kind of starts getting involved in a way that he shouldn't. then we're going to see how that butterfly affects as this story unfolds. And I am really curious because, of course, the first like initial thing they explain is like, if we send you back to the future, it could be like one of a multitude of timelines, because now that you've come back, like the timeline is fractured. And so we already know something's going to go wrong when he goes back to the future. But what that is, we'll find out in the next issue. Blue Falcon and Dynamite, issue 1 from Dynamite, and all of their awesome cartoon, like Hanna-Barbera kind of style stories, and our friend Jimmy Palmiotti. This is, first of all, I feel it necessary to say, if you are scared of seeing a dog get beat up in action, don't read this, because he gets beat up sometimes too, because he's a superhero, and it's a little more violent than the classic Hanna-Barbera. I will say, you can see all that blood spatter, but this is the story of the Blue Falcon and his best friend Dynamite, and they have kind of been superheroes together for a long time, and they have finally figured out a way to give the Blue Falcon actual flight power. And he's so excited about it. He's got a nice girlfriend. Everything's going really well. And he tells his scientist that's been working for him, he's so happy that he finally has somebody who he can trust, and that's going to take like his superheroing to the next level, and he's so excited about it. Well, the scientist didn't know that he actually felt that way and that he was ever going to get a raise or anything like that. And so the scientist had actually already told people from the bad guys who were coming after him that he would give them his key card, and when he decides not to do it, they take it and go after him anyway, and danger ensues. And I'm not going to show you the second half of the book because that danger escalates very, very quickly for all of them. And so just read it. It's not the Blue Falcon and Dynamite of your possible childhood or your parent or grandparents' childhood. It is, like I said, way more violent and crazy than ever. And I'm going to tell you why on issue 2. So you better read it now, because this is your one chance to not be spoiled about what happened in issue 1, just for the record. Black Demon Tales Descent, issue 1 from AMP Comics and their Chispa imprint. I'm really happy to see Chispa found a home at AMP. They were previously at Scout, and so I'm happy to see it. This is a one-shot about the Black Demon. We've seen a Black Demon Tales before from Chispa, and so it's nice to see another story. And this one specifically follows a couple of different things. It follows a half-sister and brother who run a major corporation, and she's kind of like, this is the way I want it to go. You have to do whatever I say. He's kind of running it a little bit more mobstery, and that's not really great either. And then we are also following 2 brothers who are from a fishing town, and they talk about how, there's not really a lot of fish available anymore, and a lot of it's getting harder for everybody. What used to be 12 major boats in their fleet is now down to 4. One of the brothers has gone off to college, and he's trying to convince his other brother that he should as well move away and go into pursuing art and things of that nature. Well, they end up finding these fluorescent, like bioluminescent shrimp and making a ton of money and off of the sale of them. And so they decide, like, hey, even though we were warned like we shouldn't go back out, maybe we should go back out for that. And when danger lurks in the depths of the sea, so does the champion of the culture and the people. And I'm not going to tell you, it's one shot, so if I show you any more, it spoils the whole thing. So just read it. Who doesn't want a great shark book? Everybody wants a great shark book. just read it. It's one issue. It's amazing. It's great. Powers is celebrating its 25th anniversary with an all-new #1 and a new story in the Powers universe. This is from Dark Horse and Brian Michael Bendis back at it with Powers. And it's great because I should say Michael Avon Oeming too, the team behind Powers for forever. It's fun to go back into because I learned about Powers, I learned more about Powers reading Crossover by Donny Cates because I hadn't read Powers before, and then I went back and read some Powers, and so it's funny to go back in it now because I just always hear the characters as they were in Crossover. But this is a whole new story. It's still following our detective who works in a world where there are superpowered people, and she works for the department that kind of oversees investigations into powered people and the things that are happening with them. And at the very beginning of the book, they are called in because a superpowered person is dead on a rooftop, only for them to have that person wake up and suddenly be okay, right in the middle of their investigation. And they are freaking out about what is happening. And that is just the beginning, because unfortunately for them, a new act goes into place that nobody from this department has been confronted on or allowed to provide counsel, that now says that a lot of different people can be deemed powered people, and also they don't have to follow any of the rules that this organization is providing for them, and like their jobs just got insanely harder. Lots of stuff's going on. We're seeing a couple more investigations, some very dark, disturbing situations going on. If you've never read Powers before, they actually do a little comic at the very beginning that is Brian and Michael. I think it is Brian and Michael that are talking. I'm going to show you that. And they're basically like, hey, if you've never read Powers, that's cool. You can totally start here. And if you had read Powers, thank you for celebrating with us for 25 years. But it's cool that they personally like drew themselves in and were like, don't worry, we're making this something that any of you can read. And also, you can totally jump into this. They give you just enough information, and it's a super powered world with detectives, and you'll totally be able to follow along. We've got the all-new Harbinger, issue 1 from Valiant Comics and Alien Books. If you were paying attention to the Valiant universe, you know that last year they did two issues for each of the characters with an overarching story that kind of brought the Valiant universe back. And now we are launching full new series, and so in this issue we are seeing the bad guys coming back again themselves. We're seeing a whole new group of bad guys who are rising up and who are specifically trying to get the Harbinger team to come back for them. And each of them have been spread out. They're all doing their own thing. They've moved on. One of them is making music. One of them is living a family life. One is, of course, just being obnoxious drunk at a bar. And then we have Archer, who is trying to just, do his best to be the person he needs to be. And so we've got the team having to get back together again, and they're not really prepared for it. And the whole thing is that Archer, as the new team leader, was supposed to pick a student from the academy to bring up, and Archer refuses to do it. And whether it's because he doesn't want to bring in another teammate because of all the danger, or whether it's because he really doesn't like any of the candidates, it doesn't really matter, because they actually decide that they are going to just assign one of the students, the highest ranking one, to the team. And so as the team shows up to this dangerous battle, the university, essentially the academy, just sends this kid out unprepared, never in battle before, to join them at this huge standoff. And we're going to see how that works out for anybody involved. We've got the Toxic Crusaders, issue 1 from Ahoy Comics. I'm so excited about this. Happy birthday to Toxic writer Matt Bors. That was yesterday. Yes, I'm going to raise a glass. Cheers to our good buddy Matt Bors. We love you, buddy. Happy birthday. I should say Eisner winner, 2-time Pulitzer Prize finalist, writer of Toxic Avengers and Crusaders, Matt Bors. Happy birthday. So this is the launch of the Toxic Crusaders, which if you read the Toxic Avenger series, or if you know anything about Toxic Avenger, you know that their home, Tromanville, was destroyed by some toxic sludgy waste, and a bunch of people in the town mutated, and it didn't go well. Well, now we're kind of seeing those people all banded together behind their leader, Toxie, the Toxic Avenger himself, and we get to see a little bit more of each of the characters in there. We actually follow each kind of get to see each of their journeys and how they got there, but they are also on this adventure because Toxie kind of made some big proclamations at the end of the Toxic Avenger leading into this that was here we are, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and we're here to be the saviors. And they're this follows a reporter who's so you made all these claims that there was aliens and giant bugs and that you were gonna save us from all of those, and they were we're here to clean up the swamp, we're here to do this, and kind of just ignoring it. So they decide that they are going to go on and just find proof that these evil corporations are behind all of this. And so they go onto one of the trains and they try to just get some proof that they are, sending out the sludge in it. But not everybody thinks that Toxie is going the right way. Some members of the team think that maybe Toxie needs to go a little bit bigger if he wants to actually make an impact and really show people. And so they decide to go on their own adventure and cause a little bit more destruction. And unfortunately for them, that ends up being a lot of bit more destruction. And now they're having to go after their own damage and the things they cause, but also they've put themselves in the spotlight towards all of the people who run the evil corporations in the first place. I love all of these characters. It definitely feels like watching the cartoon, but now as an adult, in the same way that a lot of like the Thundercats and the Transformers. Honestly, like if you are somebody who was like, oh, I was a fan of Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon, you would really love this as an adult, in the same way that people who love Transformers as a kid are loving Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. This is the same feeling. This is like, oh my gosh, I love that cartoon. It was so good, but now it's for adults like me. And it's just a little more violent, and it's just a little more political, and it's just a lot more funny. And the jokes kind of make more sense because I am old enough to get them, and everybody has I already am like sitting here reading this, and I'm like, this is this person like in my life, like, and it's so great. And if you shop at the store, I will tell you who I think everybody is when you come in. But so good, so funny, so apt, so perfectly Matt Bors, and so good. So pick it up. This is issue 1. You're gonna get to see those new characters, some of the classic characters, plus our new character Fun Girl in action, and you're not gonna want to miss it. It Killed Everyone But Me, issue 1 from Mad Cave. This is such an exciting book. This was like, if I could have more than 3 picks of the week, this would have probably been in there too, because it's so exciting and very Something Is Killing Children-esque. This is the artist that's been doing this Something Is Killing the Children, Girl Walks Into a Bar story in Hello Darkness, and so it's very, very similar. You can see that Werther inspiration on that art. But this is Ryan Parrott writing it, so you know we're going to get a good story too. But this is all about a young girl. When she is a teenager, she goes on a not a camping, but like an Airbnb trip with her friends. Cabin in the woods. Let's call it what it is, because they even make that joke. Like, oh, cabin in the woods, what could happen with a bunch of teenagers drinking at a cabin in the woods? Like, and you're like, haha, I saw that movie. And everybody there is murdered, and something terrible happens. And then the police show up. She's the only one there, and she's just like traumatized and sitting alone. And then it fast forwards to her adult life, and she is now a real estate agent who gets all of the worst possible properties. And watching her try to spin them is absolutely hilarious. And she's just like, I hate this job. I hate everything about this job. And one day, while she is just having the worst possible day, a guy shows up and is like, hey, just FYI, murders are happening in the same town that they once happened before, in the same way that you were murdered, like your friends were murdered. And I'm not saying you're a part of it, because obviously you're here right now and you probably didn't do it, but it would be cool if you could help us figure out what is going on. And of course, she's like, I want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with you. Go away. But we get to see a little bit of what may have happened in that past. And the setup is one of those where I'm like, what? Like, what does that mean? What is happening? And is she a part of it? Is she not a part of it? Is she, like, what is going on? And how did we get here? I am so freaking invested in what could possibly be the results of what happened in this issue. And I cannot wait to see what is going to be next. And so if you haven't picked up this book yet, pick it up this week. Go to your shop. If your shop's Bad City, come in and ask us for it. Wherever your shop is, go pick up It Killed Everyone But Me. Especially if you are a fan of Something Is Killing Children, not only do you get that aesthetic, but you also kind of get a very similar storytelling from Ryan. And now I'm like, hey, James, when you need another like side quest story, why don't you just call Ryan Parrott and do it? Because like he totally gets the same vibe. It's gonna be good. Can't wait. Another winner from Mad Cave for sure. All right, we've got The Nocturnals, The Sinister Path, issue 1 from Dark Horse. I am here for this book on character development alone. Like, the concept of the characters of this book are so good. I read it twice because the first time I was like, I kind of like this book. And then the back has a description of all the characters in it. And I read through who all the characters were and how they connected and where it was going to go. And then I went back and reread the story and was like, oh, I am so in. This kind of fits right in between Mark Spear's Monsters and Los Monstros. And so it's kind of giving us another one of those monstery worlds. We have a couple of different people going at different things right here. We have a man who is known as Bandit, who could be a good guy but chooses to go in the wrong way about it every time. And he has the opposite of him. The good guy is Doc Horror. And Doc Horror is kind of our investigator for the Nocturnals, the monster world. And when Bandit goes missing, they send him in and they're like, you know, it's weird for us. Bandit was sent out this thing. It was the wrong thing for him doing. But if he didn't make it back, like, what could have possibly happened? And so they send Doc Horror in, and he brings it with him his sidekick, which is the Gun Witch, which is like a scarecrow kind of guy who is super cool, like aesthetic. Oh my gosh, he's right here. You can see him. He's like this scarecrow guy who shoots guns but is like magical about it. It's so crazy. He's so like gunslinger spawn coded. It's awesome. And then you have his daughter with him, which is, her name is Evening, and she has the ability to talk to ghosts. She's also known as Halloween Girl. She's super cool. And it's good that she goes, because when they go into this random house that nobody's ever entered into allegedly before, and there's only supposed to have been one person who lived there who never had any heirs or any other people who lived around him. Suddenly, she is able to see a young boy who may or may not be alive, and she chases after him. Meanwhile, they find out that they're supposed to be there for looking for some informational text. And not only do they find this informational text, but they find that there is a whole nother level to this house, and there is something mischievous going on. We have some characters in the woods who seem to be connected to all of this as well. One who is this beautiful gargoyle woman. Everybody in this is such a cool, unique character design. It's something that we don't see a lot of in the monster world. Kind of like the way Los Monstros felt like completely familiar and yet completely new. This has that same feeling, and the art is like these beautiful painted landscapes, much like Mark Spear's Monsters. If you are enjoying either of those, you should definitely pick this up. I'm excited because at first I thought this was going to be like the Dark Horse Halloween one-shot, and I'm so excited that this is a mini and we're going to get to see a whole story out of this, and I hope we get to see more from these characters. I'm already calling for a Halloween Girl one-off of her own, like her own series. I'm just saying. All right, next up in our picks of the week, we've got Racer X #1 from Mad Cave, which is why I've got my awesome Speed Racer headband on, or handkerchief tied around my hair. I'm so excited. This is Mark Russell. Obviously, that's why it's in my picks of the week, because if you know me, you know, and you watch the show, you know Mark Russell is one of my favorite comic book artists and one of my writers and one of my favorite writers, period, of all time. And Mark Russell does this thing when he writes like these classic cartoon stories where he takes everything you already thought you knew about the character and just completely changes it, but also makes it this like meaningful life moment for you. And that is no different with this story. In this, we get to learn about Driver X, who is working for a bunch of criminal masterminds, and he is their getaway driver, and he's told that he's really good at being a driver and he has to do that. But he's kind of talking to us about his driving experience and how he got there, and all about building a car, and how building a car is similar to how we build our process in life and all of our thoughts and fears and things like that. But we also get to learn who Driver X really is, and what his connection is to Speed Racer and to everything that's going on in the main David Pepose story for Speed Racer. And I was just like, the way Mark interwove the story of Driver X and Racer X and Speed Racer and everything was, of course, like so beautifully done, but also just the story of trying to find your own way and failing at finding your own way, only to realize that like the path you were on was never really the path you were meant to take, and yet was also completely the path you were meant to take, and just the way we deal with ups and downs in life. It's just so good. And like, I wanted to go back and watch all of Speed Racer now, just because I want to experience this world the way Mark Russell and David Pepose together as a team have built it out between Speed Racer and this. But again, as always, like, I read this Mark Russell comic book that's based on a cartoon. And I'm like, did I miss all of this subtext in this cartoon before? Or does Mark Russell just think on another plane of existence than me? And the answer is number 2. It is definitely that Mark Russell is just thinking on a different plane of existence than all of us. And it's so great and wonderful. But seriously, I laughed, I cried, I cheered. I, again, want to go and just like live in the Speed Racer world that they are creating and a journey on that. And also, like, Mad Cave, thanks for pulling Mark Russell to write your side story to your Speed Racer universe, because so good. And then lastly, big shout out to our friends over at Ignition Press for the launch of their publication, their publishing company. It all starts here with Murder Podcast, and we are so proud of them. I'm in toast again to Ignition. Congratulations on a great launch with this first book we're about to talk about. All right, so this is Murder Podcast, issue 1, written by Jeremy Hahn, who is one of the co-founders of Ignition. Really excited to see this book. I've been waiting so long for it since they first teased it. But this is it opens in the best way with this woman just like sitting, like the cold open of this book, of this woman like in her house listening to a podcast, and the murder that unfolds during that is just an absolutely great cold open. Something that, like, if you know the moments of like Scream and all of that, like pre-title card of a movie cold open where you're like, ooh, this has set the entire tone for the horror movie to come, does it in such a great way. And then it introduces us to our main characters, which is a group of girls who love to get together and talk about their favorite murder podcast and all of the things they're in. And they've just kind of they're that group of friends who gets together for everything. And one of them is married to a police detective, and she shows up and tells them all about the murder that we witness in the cold open. And it's so fascinating to see like them immediately like, oh, should we, like, what's going on? Oh, that sounds terrible. And then one of them is like, what if we started a murder podcast and we talked about the murder that happened? And they're all like, no, that's a terrible idea. Like, we don't want to do podcasts. We don't want to talk about a murder in our town. Like, this is awful. And it just kind of sets up the idea that, like, something is coming in this way. But the thing is that if you're reading the book, and as you're reading the book, you see what it is. There's something triggering about these podcasts that these people are listening to that's leading them to a completely different mindset and a completely different experience. And I'm really curious to see how it's going to impact all of these friends, because these friends are so, I don't want to show you that. These friends are all so unique, and what Jeremy did really well in this issue is, even though he gave us like a little bit of like, oh, this is what they're into and this is that, it kind of really like made us like feel like I already knew the characters. Like, I know how each of them is going to respond to the situation just from reading their text messages between each other and stuff. And so it already gave us a really great build out of the universe, and gave us the cool feel and the creepy, like, ness of everything. It's all kind of building out really immediately well, and it just really makes you want to know, like, what's going to happen when this podcast has this impact on people, and who is it going to impact. It's very, like, similar to that concept in World Tree, that the internet is dangerous, and yet bringing it in to a more almost horrific than Sci-Fi 1. One of the things I have to point out, because I've been talking about this forever, and this may lead to another toast to Ignition, because one of the very first things that my friend Philip at Ignition told me that he was going to do, because he asked, what are things that you want as comic stores, what is something that you want? And I said the number one thing we want is we want a blurb on the back of the book about what the story is. So shout out to Philip and Ignition for making sure that every issue of the book is going to have this blurb telling you what it is. So like a traditional prose novel, you can walk into your comic book store and figure out what the story is going to be about before you pick it up, so you're not just flying blind on the issue. Thank you, Ignition. Another cool thing that they're doing is they are numbering every single cover every single issue of every book, so you know exactly what one you have. So it's giving a little bit of a collectability to every single issue. Even if you're getting a cover A, even if you get a cover C, a cover B, doesn't matter. They're all going to have that number, and so you know exactly where in the print line you are. Like a Mondo poster or any of those kinds of exclusivities of that. Really cool. Ignition's really thinking of all the cool ways to give you the best product that they can. And again, great paper stock, great story. Shout out to that. I will say, if this is gonna be book 1. I'm really excited for books 2 and 3 of their line. We've got Voyeur and Deluge coming soon, and they both also look amazing. This is going to be a great new publishing company with some powerhouse people behind it. You're not gonna want to sleep on Ignition. And thank you to everybody who came in this week, because you didn't. You were all ready. You were all like, I am here for Murder Podcast. Let's go, Ignition, ready to go. So shout out to them, and shout out to Bree if you're watching. My girl, the amount of my customers who came in and said Ignition has awesome killer marketing going on right now with hilarious reels on Instagram. They were citing them and like quoting them to me. So Bree, you were rocking it. My girl, I love you. Great work. All right, we got a bunch of other books in stock. Exceptional X-Men issue 13 out this week. The craziness is starting. X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha issue 1. This is the kickoff to several new things happening at the X-Men line, including the fact that our X-Men Age of Revelation is coming soon too. Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman issue 4. I love this because that's me in my wedding dress. I had Catwoman's wedding dress, so I'm so excited. I love that they mirrored the Batman 50 cover. Ultimate Wolverine number 9. Edge of Venomverse launched this week with number 1. We got our pumpkin spicy variant for Supergirl issue 5, and it's so cute, which is adorable, which is not spicy at all, but I will tell you the Nightwing spicy cover for next week is spicy. We got Superman Unlimited number 4. Star Wars Tales from the Nightlands number 1. Spider-Man vs. Venomverse issue 5. Spawn 386, that's not this week. Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn issue 8. Radiant Black issue 37. Punisher got his own red band, which kind of makes sense. Issue 1 is out this week. Red Hulk number 8. G.I. Joe A Real American Hero 317. This is not your Energon universe, but your classic G.I. Joe universe. Green Lantern Corps issue 8 with the Hispanic Heritage Jessica Cruz cover, which I love. One World Under Doom issue 7. We got 2 more issues to go in that. Conan the Barbarian issue 24. Chip Zdarsky's Captain America issue 3. If you ever wanted to know how a Canadian would write Captain America, this is your time. Birds of Prey issue 25. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice. We are on issue 3 of that, which is the second volume of the rebringing back of Gotham by Gaslight. Batman and Robin issue 25. Batman Dark Patterns issue 10. This is a fan favorite Batman series right now. Superior Avengers issue 6. Aquaman issue 9. Look at that beautiful mirror on the cover. Absolute Batman issue 12. We still have some. If you didn't get it, hurry in. You know Absolute Batman doesn't last long. We've got a bunch of graphic novels and trade paperbacks out this week. Invisible Differences. This is the story of autism, adulting, and living life in full color. Really excited to read this graphic novel. Canon. This is a follow-up to the award-winning Stone Fruit, which chases the slow descent into the full palette of a nervous breakdown. And, this is going to be beautifully tragic. We've got Yan issue 2, which is a big, giant manga, and I love how big that is because we never get to see manga art in that level of hugeness. Daredevil Unleash Hell. This is your whole volume of that, so it's going to collect issues 1 through 5. The Internal Sea. This just looks really pretty. This is No Man is an Island, but Dr. Michael Fisher, a disgraced planetary geologist living on Mars, had never felt more isolated. You're living alone on Mars, things get bad. This is from Vault Comics, and it is very bright on the inside, and going to probably be very dark and sad at the same time. We've got Rogue Sun. I believe this is volume 5, and it's issues 25 through 29. This is part of your massive verse, which is the Radiant Black universe. Rockefellers, Volume 1 is out. Whoop, whoop. This is issues 1 through 6 of the Ghost Machine story. This is such a fun, great story for all ages. Time-traveling family who is here in our time trying to get away from the dangers that are in their time in the future. You should definitely be reading it, especially if you're a fan of Super Sons, because it is Peter Tomasi and Francis Manapul on it, and you should read it. Magic. This is Magic Unleashed. This is the new Magic story that's been going on, and you probably didn't read it because it's sold out everywhere all the time because everybody loves Magic and is always ready to get it. This is issues 1 through 5, so if you missed it, you can jump in and get to know Magic in this new story. Calavera P.I. Love this story about a detective who is dead. And it comes back to life as a skeleton, essentially just to solve the mystery of some very dangerous things happening in his time. Black Canary, Best of the Best. This is Tom King's Black Canary book. This is all issues 1 through 6. I'm so excited to finish reading this because we were always out of issues and I didn't get to finish reading it, so don't look at it. This one's mine. And then we've got The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is Robert Louis Stevenson's masterpiece, and it is beautifully illustrated. If you are looking, it is still the story. It is an illustrated novel, but you can see it's actually like the prose story, but it's got these beautiful painted images that are done by Vincent Mallet. Such a gorgeous story, such a gorgeous book, and I can't wait to just like flip through, like to see people like just fall in love with this story just by flipping through it. Great timing as we see more and more of like the classic monster stories. That is all that I have for you. Don't forget this week, Wednesday at 6:30 is Manga Meetup. Thursday at 8 p.m. is Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night. Katie and I will be out at the Art Center of Sarasota on Saturday from 12 to 3 for our fun art event. The store will be open normal hours that day, but if you want to come, please go to the Art Center of Sarasota's website so you can register for that because it is a registered event. And again, don't forget, September 27th, Local Comic Shop Day, we will be having our Zine Fest from 12 to 5. You got to come out, meet all those creators, support local artists and makers, make your own zines, and of course from 3 to 4 that day you can get your Marty's First Mates Marauders comic signed by Marty, Anthony Pizzo, the cartoonist and artist of that book, and myself, the writer of the book. And the great thing about the book is it has opportunities for you to fill in parts of the story and be a part of the team because, you know, it's all about teamwork and swinging for those fences together. So, tonight, like we said, we are drinking Halos de Jupiter. It's such a good Coates du Rhone Southern French wine. If you haven't tasted a Southern French wine, Coates du Rhone specifically, this is a great option. I believe Matt said it was like $15 at Total Wine. Great choice. So smooth, so delicious. That's all we have for you today. We will see you We will not see you next Sunday. Next Sunday, the 21st, there will not be a live show because Matt and Katie will not be here. So there will not be a live show next Sunday. So catch us on a little bit later time, a little bit different time, I guess I should say. But we will see you in the shop on Wednesday for New Comic Book Day and all throughout the week for those events. Until we see you again, everybody, happy reading. Bye.